Saiga 50 cal conversions. They have 50 BMG now. Why does it do that? Because it actually sucks. You can't shoot anymore. You only get one bullet. So hello gamers, recently Phantom Forces got a very, very large test place update. So today I wanted to go through all the patch notes and just tell you everything that is currently going on in the test place. This is pretty important because there is a ton of new stuff that's getting added to the game, a ton of new rebalancing stuff. This is on the heels of a very large update that I made a 1-hour video on. So if you want to see that video, go check that out first. But yeah, let's get into it. The first thing that we should talk about is the new guns. The first one is the C8A2. I'm not entirely sure why, but this bars the reload from the HK416 and as such a little bit slower of a reload than the C7A2, but do not worry because there is a way to fix the reload and make it fast again. It does better CQC damage but worse damage at range than the C7A2, but it fires quite a bit faster, 900 RPM instead of the good old 800 RPM of the C7A2. So a little bit faster RPM, slower reload time for some reason, even though it's like the carbine variant, basically just a faster gun for CQC. Also, the ranges are not really too great, and you probably shouldn't expect the same laser beam accuracy of the actual C7. Now, fully attached, this gun is actually pretty good. Keep in mind, it does not have a long barrel, but it does have a short barrel for extra short. But if you run something like this, basically my actual setup on the C7, and keep in mind that you don't want to use 223 on this version of the gun, but it does have 7.62 and 20 tac. 7.62 does a little bit more damage than the version on the C7, but kind of trash damage at range, not gonna lie, especially for a gun that's a 7.62, but it's actually pretty controllable considering this is a 900 RPM 7.62 gun that can two-shot, headshot, and stuff. But really, when you think about it, except for the RPM, this is basically just worse than the C7A2 7.62 conversion it has, because it does about the same damage but worse damage at range, has a little bit worse recoil and a slower reload time, so it's kind of just worse. But I'm not gonna lie, because this shoots so fast, it is pretty viable, and it's also super low recoil for what it is, which makes this really, really strong. I'm not gonna lie, it's really good. Now, as you probably could tell, the reload time is still kind of You're still doing the good old HK416 reload, which is probably the coolest reload in the game, but it's kind of slow, not gonna lie. It's not completely awful, it's actually really fast, but compared to the normal C7A2 reload, it's about half a second slower, and you don't really want that, do you? So I do have a way to fix it. Basically, you gotta F5 and go to 20 tact. Now, 20 tact, for some reason, I don't know if this is a bug or not, it actually just gives it the C7A2 20 tact reload, which is incredibly fast, way too fast for its own good in my opinion. This also has all the benefits of 20 tact on the C7A2, which is faster reload time, better headshot damage, better movement speed, better aiming speed, faster reload, and all that, and it's just really, really good. It makes this gun really, really good. Now, next up, we have the OTS-126. This is a pretty interesting gun. It has a pretty awful recoil pattern for 9mm, but the velocity and the ranges are pretty good. Damage is decent, but the RPM is pretty slow. It's only 600, which is AK-47 RPM, but obviously the AK-47 does a lot more damage. But they actually nerfed the AK-47 in this test place update. You guys are probably going to want to stick around for that. Basically, you can't have a +1 in this gun, but it has 40 bullets, 160 reserve, and you can get it to have 200, but you have to use the magazine stock, which increases the recoil even more than this, which the recoil is not great. This is the maximum recoil reduction setup you can have on it, which is compensator, stubby grip, and of course the green laser for faster recovery speed. And honestly, this isn't really that good recoil for that, because it's a 9mm with 600 RPM, and it does 2-shot headshot and 3-shot body, but like that's like the Uzi, you know? Although I would say this is probably better than the Uzi. It has like faster velocity and stuff. And speaking of the Uzi, they nerfed that in this update, so that's pretty weird. Overall, pretty good gun. It's definitely not going to be the meta, but you will be seeing some people using this gun. Personally, I probably won't be using it that much, but I might get 100 kills on it because it's not going to be that difficult to get 100 kills on. It's going to be one of those guns that, yeah, you can use it, but I'm not going to prefer to use it. It's just solid. You can have 200 reserve ammo and 40 bullets in a mag, and for a 2-shot headshot, that means you can technically kill 120 people without any collapse, which is pretty crazy, not gonna lie. But the RPK kind of does that and has the same RPM but just more damage, and it just 2 shots very easily. Although they did nerf the RPK in this update as well, which is just so weird. They're kind of going back on some of the weird changes that they had in the previous update, which is pretty cool. Also, it does have super armor piercing for 2.5 studs of pen, which is pretty good, not gonna lie. Our next primary weapon is of course the new shotgun, the USAS-12, and you guys are probably wondering, is this gun good? No, it is not good, but it's pretty fun. Here's the thing, it shoots really, really fast and it's full auto, but it has pretty trash damage, actually insanely bad damage. It is a 6 pellet kill in CQC, which is by far the worst. Worse than guns like the Super Shorty. I think it's the only 6 pellet kill shotgun by default in the entire game. Everything else is a 4, a 3, or a 5, and a 5 is really bad. Like a 4 is pretty normal and a 3 is good. Some of the guns can even get like 2 pellet kills. This is just by default a 6 pellet kill. And it doesn't make it up in spread or anything, but it does shoot fast and it does have a default 10 round mag. No drum mag, by the way, only 10 bullets. And if you empty it, it has a pretty slow reload, not gonna lie. But it is a very fun gun. I don't see this being strong at all. Also, if you do the second alt-am, you get this, which is pretty funny. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I actually am enjoying this gun. It's not great, it's not good, but it's usable enough to be pretty fun because it's an auto shotgun, dude. But it actually shoots fast. The A12 just doesn't shoot fast enough to be super fun. That's my opinion, though, because I know a lot of people will disagree with me on that. A12 is a lot of fun for a lot of people, but I like the RPM and the movement that this gun has because 20 rounds on the A12 has an awful movement speed now. So I'm really enjoying this gun. As you can see, it's not that great. It's fine, I guess. Not really. Oh. We going on. Next up, we have some of the new machine pistols. First off, PP2000, which is essentially just a minor version of the OTS. Kind of similar damage, not gonna lie, but it does do 17 at range. So this is going to be able to 2-shot headshot, but it's gonna have worse velocity and pen and ranges and damage at range and probably recoil than its primary variant. But it's very similar to the primary variant, and it even has super armor piercing for 2.5 studs a pen, which is actually pretty good, but it only has a 20 round mag and the recoil isn't too great. I'm not gonna lie, this is a very solid machine pistol. You want the 2-shot headshot, but you don't want kind of the weird downsides of things like MP1911 and stuff. This is not too bad. I would say MP1911 is just probably better, but this is pretty good. It's good enough to be fine in CQC, I guess. And I do really like the reload animation. It just looks so cool. I love how you just drop the mag. I do not see this being super meta or anything, but I feel like it's going to be good enough to where people will be using it. It does have a very good 3-hit kill range. But then next up we have, I feel like, the best machine pistol in the game, maybe at this point. This thing has a massive mag, ton of reserve ammo, pretty good damage, not gonna lie. Like at this point, it's pretty good damage, pretty good velocity. It's basically a primary as a secondary. I made a full like 2-minute video talking about how this might be a little bit too good, not gonna lie. It's super accurate. It has a 33 round mag, and yeah, the damage and RPM isn't really the best, but it's so accurate that it's basically a secondary primary. And a lot of people are like, nah, dude, it's not gonna, like, there's no problem. Why would you even care if there's going to be a primary as a secondary? I'm like, come on, man, like, this is a little bit too good, not gonna lie. I mean, it's not the best gun ever, but it's actually almost 2 shots headshot. So if you're hitting heads, it's easily a 3-shot, and it's a little bit too good. If they increase the recoil by a lot, then the other one, the PP2000, is just gonna be better. Keep in mind, this is literally just the same gun, but does like 10 more damage, but it has a smaller mag, less reserve ammo, way more recoil, and this actually has way better multis. It can almost 2-shot headshot, and this can, but just barely, which makes this thing really good. And also has a 1.25 times torso multi, which means it actually can 5-shot torso all ranges. This thing can't 5-shot torso all ranges. It actually does the same damage at range, but has the same velocity, just no recoil. I'm just saying this right now. This might be the meta. It's basically just a primary secondary, and people are like, nah, it'll be fine, or something like that. And I did mess up. I didn't read the RPM of the gun correctly. It only has 600 instead of 800, but it's still really good. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of scared of this gun. The new grenades are pretty simple. I'll just go over them pretty quickly. The thing here is like the damage and killing radius, how far you can throw them, and how many you can carry. You have the default one, which is pretty good. It can kill to 17 studs. It can carry 3, and it has no special effects, but it just kills pretty well. The M560 Mini is basically just a slightly faster version of the default one. The stick grenade has a little bit better damage and can throw pretty far, and also has 3, so this one's pretty good. The M26 is, to be honest, kind of just a better version of the M67 with a little bit better killing radius. V40 Mini doesn't really do too good. It can kill to only 16 studs away, but you can throw it very far. Mark II frag is basically just the default gun, but a little bit better. Then you have the Rolly hand grenade, which does the funny, basically just the default frag. It makes funny sound effects. Then you have the high explosive ones. Basically, these barely throw. You can only have one of them. They have long fuse times, but when you do throw them, they can kill from very far away. I'm just going to show you. Oh, wait, what? Okay, so it's not that far away, but they can kill from decent range, but you only get one. So I feel like those are going to be the meta. It's either going to be like the fast grenades, so maybe like the stick grenade or something, and the high explosive grenades. Most likely this one, because it has by far the best killing radius of 42 studs. This can kill from almost 50 studs away. However, it does drop damage very fast after that range. So basically, you can only kill from 42 studs away, and anything past that, no, you just can't. It drops to 19, just goes away immediately. So that killed me from 37 studs away. That is really, really good. Not gonna lie, if you drop one of these on the hill, everyone just dies. It's pretty cool. I'm really sad because there's no smoke grenade right now. Hopefully they add one because I really just want a smoke grenade. Then we have some of the new ammo types. First off, AUG A2 got a new conversion called 7.62. This one's pretty simple. You get a 20 round mag and more damage and the same RPM and stuff, but more recoil and like less velocity. Basically, you get 7.62 stats in AUG, but the recoil is still pretty low, not with this setup. The setup is kind of whack. Now this thing can 2-shot headshot, but it already 3-hit to the body. This one's okay. I would say default is probably just better because like there's not really a ton of reasons to use this. It does have low recoil, but like only a 20 round mag and stuff. They actually buffed the default AUG A2, so I will be talking about that in the later portion of this video when I talk about the balancing changes. Next up though, we have the Saiga 50 cal conversions. They have 50 BMG now. These are extremely expensive conversions that are not good. Let me just tell you right now, they are not good. The one on the Saiga 12U actually costs 14,000 credits. And why does it do that? Because it actually sucks. You can't shoot anymore. You only get one bullet because the Saiga 12U explodes when you do this, so you only get one shot and it actually kind of sucks anyway, so please do not use it on that one. But the Saiga 50 is basically just like a slightly early version of the BFG with a good limb kill range but trash velocity. It has choke, but it can torso kill all ranges, and also it has the worst handling you have ever seen. This is what happens when you have the maximum good handling setup on this gun. Look at how slow that goes in. That is so bad. It's actually pretty cool looking, but that is not supposed to happen. That is because this has the worst crosshair recovery speed you have ever seen, because like, wait, what? That wasn't supposed to happen. But anyways, you basically just have a kind of weird BFG. Keep in mind, this is like 2 ranks below the BFG, and it's just absolutely awful, unusable garbage. But it's actually pretty fun to use, and I was enjoying it on stream earlier. Next up, we have 3 new conversions on the KS23M. These are kind of whack, not gonna lie. I'll try to explain how they work. This one is basically just, I guess you get better ranges and maybe better choke. It doesn't look like you do. I'm gonna be real, this one kind of sucks. You get like better damage ranges, that's about it. You get like way worse damage. 37 goes down to 33, so don't use it. Now Volna R is kind of like basically slugs, but like really, really awful. I think they removed slugs on this gun, so this is kind of like the new slugs. It does 111 to 42. And it has really bad ranges, but it does have a 4 times headshot multi, so it can one-shot headshot all ranges. However, it does have the massive problem of only being able to like limb and torso kill to like maybe 55 studs, which is really not that great. And the spread, I mean the drop, I mean both, they're actually really bad. At least the KS23M sounds really cool now, but like I don't think this is going to be meta at all. I don't really expect to see that many people use it, but if you're in CQC, it might be pretty decent, I guess. Basically just slugs. If you want the old slugs on the KS23M, this is nowhere near as good, but it's kind of like them, I guess. Then you have Barricada. Now this is able to torso kill but not limb kill, but has very, very high velocity and is able to headshot kill all ranges and 2-shot anywhere at any range, and has 8.3 studs a pen. What? This might actually be pretty good. I don't know how the Volna ammo isn't good at all compared to this. Barricada, it only torso kills, but it has incredible velocity for a shotgun, and even like a sniper rifle, it's actually pretty good velocity, but can headshot kill all ranges. So if you're pretty good at hitting torsos and you want to hit headshots at range, this is not trash. I would probably say that like default ammo or like birdshot is maybe still better for very, very easy limb kills, but this is pretty good. Keep in mind, it also has insane pen of 8.3 studs. That's almost as much as a 50 cal. So basically, you can get some cheeky wall bangs if you're pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, this actually seems like it's pretty balanced. I don't know if it's gonna be mega broken. It's definitely gonna be better than the Volna ammo, but I don't think it's gonna be super broken. At least hopefully. It can only torso kill, and the torso kill at 65 RPM with like kind of performances. It's definitely better than the Volna ammo, but like it's basically just a sniper rifle ammo type. Now we're on to balance changes. First off, we got a slight buff to the PDW known as the AKS74U. Its 7.62 conversion now has 120 reserve instead of 90, so you will run out of ammo a little bit slower and actually have like good ammo capacity. And it now has slightly more walk speed of about 0.5 more, so probably not a huge deal. Overall, if you're using 7.62, it's a little bit better, but yeah, pretty good changes overall. The Saiga 9mm conversion now has a little bit less recoil, probably not a huge deal because who cares about this conversion, to be honest. But next up, we have a massive nerf to the HK416. As you can see, hollow point is no longer a 20 minimum damage gun. This gun now does 23 at range instead of 24, and 300 blackout no longer has a torso multi. So 300 blackout meta is dead, hollow point meta is dead, and the HK416 is slightly nerfed. I would say maybe switch over to default, but hollow point is still really good. 300 blackout is still decent. I would still say hollow point is way better, but you know, you can use it if you want to. The Type 20 actually got a slight buff. It got slightly better recoil, and you can kind of tell. It's actually got pretty low camera recoil at this point. I mean, the recoil is still kind of... I feel like the recoil on this gun was really good to begin with, but, you know, it's fine if they want to actually make it a little bit better, but it shouldn't be too bad. I would say if they wanted to do anything, I would probably increase the ranges a little bit, at least the max range, and maybe just make that the buff, but yeah. The Type 20 isn't crazy good or anything, so I'm glad it's getting a slight buff, but in its current state, it's pretty good. They also buffed Extendamag, so now you have 120 reserve with it instead of 80, which makes Extendamag maybe the meta. It depends. If you want drum mag, then use drum mag, but 40 round mag is not too bad either at this point. They also reverted a little bit of the recoil changes on the HK417. Feels about the same to me, not gonna lie. I'm not a big HK417 user, but keep in mind that the gun still has more pen and velocity than it previously did, so it's still better. They also slightly nerfed the ability of the KS23M to continuously load shells into it. It's a little bit slower now. Next change I really do not like at all. They changed SVU auto, which if you guys didn't know, it's one of my favorite conversions in the game. And basically what they did is now it shoots slower than it did before and does way less damage, but has a 20 round mag. This sucks. It can no longer one-shot headshot, and it just... I don't want a 20 round mag. I want the 10 round mag with the one-shot headshot. And this is like a complete rework, I guess. Some people might even argue it's better than it was before, but its niche is completely lost. It's just like a weird battle rifle now. I don't like it. I really miss the old version. Hopefully they change this back. I don't like this at all. The only good change about this is that now you can run Lancaster ammo with SVU auto, and it does one-shot headshot, which you're like, okay, this is the old one. It has 10 rounds and one-shot's headshot. That's not the old gun. They actually buffed the AK-12C. It now does more damage and has a burst, and 9x39 now does more damage. I don't see this being a huge deal because it still has the crazy burst delay, and also the burst has a lot of recoil, so it's an okay conversion, not gonna lie. And the gun is a little bit better. It can now two-shot headshot by default, so 9x39 is not even necessary anymore, so that's pretty cool. They also removed some of the burst delay from some of the AK-12 variants, but it's not a big deal. They can burst a little bit faster, but don't burst them, just use auto. The AUG 2 got slightly better recoil, which is pretty nice, and they made the KG99 have the short barrel by default but have a faster walk speed, which is pretty cool. Honestly, even with full stock, this thing actually has a really fast walk speed now, and it feels a little bit different from the Tech 9 in terms of model and stuff, but you can, I think, use the short barrel in the Tech 9 and make it look like this, but still not an amazing pistol. I just don't like it. It's a little bit too spammy for me. In my video on the previous update, I talked about how they increased the headshot damage of the AK-47 and RPK and kind of made them better by doing that, even though they nerfed the body damage slightly. They have now reverted the headshot damage, so the guns just do less damage. Not a huge problem because, let's be real, the AK-47 is still really good. It still does great damage, it's pretty accurate, and it's still a great gun overall, but it's just not crazy good. I barely got to use it with a good headshot damage, so I'm gonna be sad about this, but you know, I guess I can use it while it's still in the main game before this update comes out, but wow, okay. Keep in mind, this is the nerfed version. The AK-47 is so good. I love the AK-47. But yeah, the same thing happened with the RPK. Now they do a little bit less headshot damage, but they're still going to be really good, so don't worry about it. The AF-2011 now does a little bit less damage, 40 instead of 42, not a big deal, but it got a better headshot multi, so about the same headshot damage. The SL8 can now use binary trigger as well as SL9 conversion, so pretty cool, I guess, but not a big deal. The SAS now has more default zoom with its sight, which I don't know why that's a thing, but you know, you aim in more. The Grizzly now picks up ammo from revolvers. That's kind of there, I guess. Some changes to the Foul Para Shorty, kind of a nerf, not gonna lie. It can carry 140 instead of 120 rounds. However, it does less torso damage and has less pen, and also it has changed recoil. Yeah, it has more recoil. Not gonna lie, that's a lot more recoil. It said adjusted recoil, but that's just more recoil, man. Uzi 22LR got a nerf, not the default Uzi, just 22, but that was kind of the meta. It now has a 2.5 times headshot multi, which means the ability to two-shot with one head and one limb is now gone. The Uzi 22 was really good, but I don't know, dude. It kind of just, I'm gonna miss it. I'm not gonna lie. Funnily enough, from my video, they did actually remove the 223 extended mag on the SCAR PDW. It says in the patch notes, completely forgot about this, lol. So now the SCAR PDW 223 Remington extended mag meta is now gone after like 3 days. I'm not gonna lie, 223 is still really good on this gun, but let's be real, the recoil is pretty low anyway, so it doesn't really need it. But if you want a little bit better recoil control, then it's not too bad. The intervention actually got a slight buff. It now has the default 7-round capacity again, which makes it pretty much the old version that shoots slightly slower. They really stepped back on the nerf on this gun quite a bit, and I don't know if that was the right move. 7-round mag coming back is cool and all, but like, it basically just aims and shoots a little bit slower, and it's the same gun other than that, which is pretty crazy because it was originally a very broken gun. There's some changes to ammo pools. For example, FAL 5.56 conversions are an assault ammo pool, and FAL 45 conversions are in pistol ammo pool. That's about it. The M14 actually got a slight bump. Its 6.5 millimeter actually has a little bit less recoil, which is fine, I guess, but nobody uses that. They had a huge bump to 10 millimeter on the Tommy gun, and now has really low recoil. Keep in mind, it's still not too great because it can't 3-hit kill or 2-shot head like the default gun. Other than that, there's some slight adjustments to like reloads and inspect animations, like Tech 9 inspect animation, but I couldn't even tell the differences on those, so I'm not really going to highlight those that much because it literally does not matter at all. I do want to check out the adjusted animations on the Makarov. Did it actually change that much? Let's see it. It's the same to me. I don't know. It looks the same to me. One thing I will mention is, you guys know the Groza 1556, the really broken conversion? They didn't nerf it, but it is now called the Groza 3. So you can use the Groza 3, and it also has that weird reload. I don't really like that reload, not gonna lie. Please make this like a little bit less loud. It's a little too loud, not gonna lie. The final thing we're gonna check is the Remington 700, which did get a change. It now uses iron sights by default, but it actually bugs out your game if you try to equip it, and now I can't play the game anymore. So yeah, that does mean you can do like the AWM or TRG thing where you can actually aim and shoot with your like iron sights or anything that doesn't shift to steady, which is kind of a pretty big buff to the Remington 700, because before, even if you're using irons, you had to aim out to bolt it. I would show that off, but you can't actually do that because it bugs out your game currently. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed, that is every single new change in this pretty big update that just hit the test place. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like and sub, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.